This is Doc Deason's weather.
You're watching Doc Deason's weather.
2 decades of severe weather experience here for you when it counts. This is Doc Deason's weather, live now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in. It is 2:37 on this Friday. Excuse my voice. We're working through this as best we can with the upper respiratory infection, but we're going to see if we can keep this show on the road here for you this afternoon as we watch a lot of severe weather potential beginning to reveal itself. We've been talking about this for a couple of days now, and that is going to be something I think we're going to be watching through the rest of the afternoon and into the early to maybe even the mid-evening hours. We'll watch and kind of see how this whole thing comes together. Weather Service in Fort Worth has gone ahead with a tornado warning now that's going to cover this storm, which is running across the will be running across southwestern Van Zant County here shortly. And that is going to be something that will be at least enough rotation present to prompt the warning. They are looking at this from a couple of different angles. Number one, just the general structure of the storm, but also more importantly would be just the general look of the velocity product that they have to look at, which gives them some idea as to what winds are doing in the storm, and you can tell the thing is wrapped up pretty nicely with that kind of that hooking motion there across extreme southwestern Van Zant County right now, just north of the Maybank area per se. So let's take a look at this thing from the velocity perspective. You can see that couplet in there just north of Maybank. You see the greens near the red indicating you've got winds that are blowing in towards the radar site from Fort Worth, next to or just adjacent to winds that are blowing outbound from that, and we infer from that we've got rotation that also helps to kind of give that little piece of additional confirmation. I have not seen anything indicating any kind of touchdown yet. Within the last 30 minutes or so, the Weather Service went ahead and the Storm Prediction Center issued another tornado watch to cover our western counties. And so that is going to be in place now, I think, until 9 o'clock. So we've got a lot of players on the table here which argue for tornadic development this afternoon. And so that's why we've been kind of ringing the alarm on this thing for a couple of days now. The Weather Service is watching that storm there very closely. Again, they believe it's making a little bit more of an eastward jog, which could take it a little bit closer to Canton if it were to stay on that type of track here over the next 35 to 45 minutes, give or take. But we definitely want to be mindful of that. Let's move off of radar scope and get back to Omega here, and we'll put again some landmarks in place for you. So circulation down here, sort of down to the south, and then the overall projected path in that polygon taking it northeast, but with any kind of an eastward or right-hand move on that, it gets you awfully close to Canton, and so we definitely want to be giving that plenty of heads up to you guys in the Canton area. Weather Service is just now issuing a new tornado warning, so we'll stand by for that.
Tornado warning.
So that's going to be for this storm here, just south and east of, right along I-45. Let's just say that. That's going to impact you guys in extreme western Henderson County. All right, so this again is radar indicated. This will cover the folks there who are with us in both western Henderson County or central Henderson County. They're calling it. I call it western, but in eastern Navarro County till 3:30. Storm capable of a tornado over Richland Chambers, or about 13 miles southeast of Corsicana, moving northeast at 40. So we've got, in addition to the tornado, you got the potential for some quarter-size hail in that as well, which is not surprising. The hail has been a secondary concern to the tornado threat for this day, for a couple of days now. But the hail is most definitely going to be a player this afternoon. You step outside, you can feel the juice in the atmosphere. I had a heat index of 93 here at the house about 10 minutes ago. We've since clouded up a bit more, and the temperature has come down, but we're still sitting at 83 with a 73 dew point in April. That's amazing. But it is part and parcel of the atmosphere that we've got in place. And so that's more or less, just a sign that the atmosphere has what it needs to do what it's doing right now. And so we want to give each of these storms an awful lot of respect this afternoon. Further downstream to the east, we don't have as much in the way of storms yet. But the ones that are on the table are all spinning. You can see the general turning of this storm just south, west of Sulphur Springs, the same turning to the storm immediately to its south, and the same rotating look to that storm down near Corsicana. So all of these, again, showing at least signs of rotation, and we have three warnings to suffice for that. So let's hit this one here now.
Tornado warning.
So this will be a new tornado warning for Hopkins County. That's 3 now. Northeastern Hopkins, northeastern Delta, and southeastern Lamar County. That runs until 3:15. So we've got about another 30 minutes or so to run on this one here. Storm located, capable of a tornado, I should say, located 10 miles northeast of Sulphur Springs, moving northeast at 40. So again, that's a tornado and some quarter-sized hail potentially with that storm. So that puts 3 on the table within the last 25 minutes or so. So you can kind of see where we're coming from with the overall concern for the day. And I would keep a sharp eye on this thing over Rains County too, given the environment that these storms are in and how they're lined up. Let's see what happens with that. But you guys near Emory right now, no warning out immediately for you guys. But given your traffic to the north of you and to the south of you, let's be sure and be ready to hit those safe spots if need be. And speaking of, let's talk about that for a second. Centermost part of the building or the structure that you're in. At 2:45, we've still got a lot of kids in school. I know we did see some school districts that ended up pulling out early today, which I can't argue with that on a day like today. So we like that centermost part of the building. You want to put as much distance between you and the danger as you can. And since the danger's outside, the centermost part of that structure gives you maximum clearance from that. Lowest floor of the building that you're on. We don't want to be on a second story. We don't want to be upstairs. We want to be downstairs. The most solid part of that structure is going to be nearest the foundation. We also want to use and consider small interior rooms. Closets are great. I like those. You've got typically in closets, you've got some soft clothes, things like that. And that smaller profile gives you a little bit more stability typically. Bathtubs with a heavy blanket, always a good option as well. Okay, throw that blanket over the top of you. If you got a mattress and you can manage that, that's great. Most folks can't manage their mattress too easily, so we'll say a heavy blanket or a comforter, and get that over the top of you. If you do so, you've got four walls around you, and that's always a good thing. I want to avoid windows, as we always talk about. The weakest part of any structure is going to be that window that is nearby. That's the first thing that's going to go. All right. I want you to avoid those large rooms, open rooms, gymnasiums, auditoriums, things like that. Those are not good options in a high wind load situation like severe thunderstorms or a tornado. We don't want to seek shelter underneath overpasses. Common misconception that got started back in I guess it was the 90s when some video came out of a news crew out in the middle of Kansas, I think it was, and the only thing they could find to get under was an overpass, and that video went a term we didn't know back in the day, but it went viral, and so a lot of folks have kind of glommed onto that over the years. Vehicles are not a good option for you unless you're driving away from the storm and you need to know the direction the storm is going in order for you to know the direction you need to go to get away from it. So that's the only time I want to see folks in vehicles when there's a tornado present. Evacuate mobile homes. If you live in a mobile home today and you're inside the watch box, you need to be ready to make a move to a more sturdy structure if the need arises, okay? Whether that's down the street to a restaurant or a gas station or something of that nature, but something that's going to have a little more fortification to it than what we have with those mobile homes. I don't care if you got FHA, tie downs, and all that kind of stuff. You still don't want to be in there on a day like today if one of these things comes barreling down on you. Shoes and helmets, always a good thing. A lot of folks take a leisurely Friday afternoon. We want you with shoes on, closed-toed shoes. If you got a bicycle helmet or something of that nature, put that on the kids and be in a prepared state of mind here this afternoon is I think the best way to come about this. All right, back on the radar. Let's see here. Let me see if I have anything from the Weather Service at the moment. I'm not seeing anything at the moment, which is good. Yeah, Heidi, a lot of folks here are chiming in. Heidi got a report of a warning for Chandler. You guys in Henderson County are in that. Is Canton Trade Day going on this weekend? Yeah, it is, isn't it? So if you've got people at the trade today, they need to be prepared to have a heck of a good wind come out of this thing. Even if there's nothing tornadic, there's going to be a heck of a lot of water and a lot of wind barreling down on that area here shortly. So if you need to send some text or make some phone calls, I would recommend doing that ASAP to get those folks up to speed. I'm sure they can see what's going on. If they look off to the south and west of them, they'll know they've got something cooking off to their southwest. Thanks, Cody. Cody says sirens are going off in Maybank, so that's good to know, and appropriately so, by the way. Let's see here. So again, if you're just joining us at 2:49, we've got 3 tornado warnings now that have popped up in the last 30 to 35 minutes. The first one that came out was for this storm that's approaching and kind of moving generally from southwest to northeast across Van Zandt County, western Van Zandt County at that. So this the heaviest of the rain is getting close to the interstate now. Coming up, going to be impacting you guys in Canton from the south and southwest. The second tornado warning is for this storm down near Kearns. It will be crossing over into western Henderson County here shortly. This will pass probably to the west of the city of Athens. You guys in Athens are not in the polygon. Your neighbors in Malakoff, Kearns, Gun Barrel City, y'all are in that polygon there. So you've got Navarro County there, Kearns. You get across the river and you're into Henderson County, which is our area of general concern here in the East Texas area. But we definitely want you guys in Corsicana and Navarro County to be mindful if you happen to be watching us here this afternoon. And our third warning is up northeast of Sulphur Springs. Now, this storm will be exiting out of Hopkins County here shortly. It's going to clip Delta County, and then it's going to move up into Red River County. Bogota and you guys a little bit further to the north, you got that coming up on you now. I would say if there's something cooking there, it's going to be right along 69 north of I-30, at least at this point. This will be east of 19, north of 30 in the Hopkins County at the moment. So it sounds like DPS is monitoring the situation closely there in the Van Zandt County area. They can see rotation, but nothing tornadic on the ground per the Van Zandt County authorities at this time. So glad for that. But still, let's get back on the velocity on radar scope here real quick. There's that. Man, that's a lot of wind there. Near and just to the northeast of Eureka. A lot of outbounds, some inbounds there as well, along and just north of 287 there. Back into Van Zandt County. Here's the area of circulation that's going to be southwest of Canton. All right. If we've got something, it's going to be right in here. Okay. Scoot this over so I'm not blocking it with my picture. So yeah, if we've got something cooking, it's probably going to be in this neighborhood here, I would imagine. Any sirens going off in Bogota? Okay, thank you for that. That makes perfect sense, by the way. Weather Service is starting to do some updates, some updated messages on the warnings. This one for northern Hopkins County, northeastern Hopkins and Delta, and southeastern Lamar County. Storm capable of a tornado located about 10 miles west of Hagensport, moving northeast at 35. So quarters and a tornado potentially there. It's an awful lot of wind, just kind of poking around here. It's pretty good circulation right in there. South of Sulphur Bluff. You bet, Keith. Thank you, man. Absolutely, Kathy. Caitlin asking about Henderson. Nothing imminent for Henderson at this time. The three storms that are doing business are all across the western counties, at least for the time being. So again, here's a radar loop. This is from the Fort Worth Weather Service radar. So you can see some showers down to the south and to the east. Initially, back about 1 o'clock, Storm Prediction Center went with a tornado watch box that was along and north of I-20 and covered basically kind of our northeastern quadrant. Then about an hour later, they ended up including and kind of taking in folks from Cherokee County down to Angelina County and most of our deep East Texas counties. And then subsequent to that, we ended up with another tornado watch box for the folks down along I-45. That brought in Trinity, Houston, Anderson, Henderson, and Van Zandt. Also rains, I guess Hopkins County brought in there too now. So pretty much all but I think one of our 26 counties is in fact under a tornado watch now, which is quite an expansion project over the last couple of hours. But it makes sense given the environment that's in place right now. So we're at coming up on 2:55. The three warnings that we have are tornadic in nature. They are across the western counties. That would be western and central Henderson County. This will be west of Athens. The box itself, the polygon, is just west of Athens. The storm itself is down here near Kearns. And so that guy's moving to the east-northeast. You head up the chain, and you're into Van Zandt County. Another tornado warning, strong winds getting into Canton now. Circulation-wise, we'll look back on this one here real quick and take a quick status check of it. We've got some circulation there. It's going to be west of Canton, rather. This would just be more straight line wind coming into the south side of Canton. Although I do want to give some thought to this area down here. Again, that's going to be just north of 175 and just east of 198. Nothing imminent there yet, but that is another potential area of circulation. More just southwest of Canton, or more, almost southwest of Canton, we'll just say. So a couple of things to look at there in Canton. Further up, you've got some pretty modest circulation there north side of Emory now. No warning out for any of the Rains County area, and then the storm up in the northeasternmost part of Hopkins County now, up near Sulphur Bluff. Tornado warning in place for that storm as well. Yeah, Ray asking about Van Zandt County Tornado Watch. You're in Grand Saline. Yeah, you guys are going to be in that Tornado Watch. Almost all of our counties now have been brought into a watch box, with the exception, I think, the only lone exception is going to be Sabine County. Only one that's not actually in one yet. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate that. Billy said it's getting kind of thundery and darker sky there, Red Springs. Yeah, not surprised to hear that. Colleen asking about Canton and Edgewood. A lot of lightning in this thing. Tornado warning continues for Van Zandt County. I have not seen any reports of touchdowns or even funnels with any of these three storms as of yet. You bet, Laura. But that doesn't mean that we can't have something, emerge from all this at some point here coming up. But nothing doing, at least for the moment. Got some additional showers now. You can see that starting to come alive across western Smith County, just west of Tyler. Looks pretty innocuous at the moment, but these things can start out that way and organize themselves. We're sitting at almost 3 o'clock. With a temperature of 82, a dew point of 73, and a heat index of 88. So there's a lot of stuff cooking this afternoon. So just because a shower pops up doesn't mean that it doesn't have the potential on a day like today to grow rapidly in intensity and size, for that matter. Yeah, timeline for this thing, Laura, I think we're going to be watching storms until probably 9 or 10 o'clock this evening. That's kind of been the general thought process on this for a while. But we'll be here as long as we need to. As long as my voice holds out. Noel asking about is the front coming through going to kill all the storms, or is it going to last all night? The severe weather threat will abate as we go later into the evening and get into the overnight hours. We're not going to be dealing with as much of that. We are going to deal with more of a heavy rain setup for tonight late, and then especially on Saturday. So, and we will have an accompanying severe weather threat on Saturday, but that's going to be loaded more to the east as opposed to the northeast and kind of area wide now. The moderate risk was really covering from northern Smith County over to Longview and up northeast from there. Tomorrow's risk assessment, I think, is an enhanced risk, which is a step down from that moderate that we were at today. But it will still be a hail threat for sure in areas tomorrow. More to the east though, as opposed to western and central like it has been today. So it looks like Weather Service has gone ahead and let that Van Zandt County tornado warning go, which is great. They're going to maintain a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to run till about 3:15. It looks like so quarters and up to 60-mile-an-hour winds possible there. So good on that. That storm looks like the rotation looked questionable for a while, although there was some broad rotation in there in a couple of spots, so that's good. Still got some hail there north and south of Canton, especially on the south side of Canton, along and west of Highway 19. So could be some nickels to quarters in there. So that'll be something just to monitor. Probably a little bit of hail on the western side of Athens right now, that Loop 7 that runs around the city. You'll have some hail between there and Crescent Heights, and then some additional hail potential out just west of the river between Trinidad and Kearns. Probably some pocket change hail in there too. So this area along Highway 19, due south of Canton, there is a little bit of still some decent rotation there. Now getting off to the northeast, so centered up closer to Highway 64 on the east side of Canton. No warnings out yet as far as that is concerned for a tornado, but of course we do have the severe thunderstorm warning in place there for you guys in Van Zandt County, although this would be even outside of the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. But that'll be an area to watch if you're east of Canton. We'll keep an eye on that, see if anything else develops from it. Thanks, Penny. I appreciate it. All right, stand by one.
Tornado warning.
Weather Service going with a new tornado warning now for Hopkins County, and this will include also northeastern rains, southeastern Delta and Lamar County. Excuse me, that'll go till 4 o'clock. We're at 3:05 right now. Weather Service looking at this storm capable of a tornado 9 miles northeast of Emory, or about 11 miles south of Sulphur Springs, and that's moving northeast at 35. So that's going to be this guy right in here. So looking again at the velocity product on the right-hand side of the screen here, and the general reflectivity product on the left. This sucker's got a lot of moisture with it. It's going to be rain wrapped if there's anything there. In all that rain, you're not going to see anything. This is not going to be a picturesque kind of thing that you imagine seeing out over the plains of Kansas or something like that. But the rotation definitely is there. Thank you, sweetie. Love you. So that, another area to be watchful of. This will be close to that Highway 19 area in Hopkins County. Just over the Rains and Hopkins County line, I think, right now. There's a lot of noise in here. It's hard to get a good feel for it, but you could kind of make out the when you're looking at that reflectivity product on the left, you can kind of make out a little bit of how that thing is starting to wrap itself up, even within the noise on the velocity product on the right. So that's something to definitely keep an eye on. So again, you guys up in that Sulphur Springs area, extreme northeastern Range County. This is going to be northeast of Emory. So you guys in Emory are fine, but definitely something that you're going to want to keep an eye on if you're in in southern and southeastern Hopkins County here for the moment. All right, let's get down here and talk about this situation in Canton real fast. Stand by.
Tornado warning.
Okay, the Canton Police Department advised they have a tornado on the ground. That's what they're seeing, 1255 near the Whitworth community in Van Zant County. So that comes from Canton PD. Their weather service issuing a tornado warning due to that, and also to that rotation that we were talking about here. I have a feeling that was that same area. Yeah, there it is. That's Wentworth right there. So this is that area that we were talking about a second ago. Then I was pointing out on the velocity product is something we're going to want to keep an eye on. Yeah, see that there? So this will be right along, this will be on the east side of Canton. Here's I-20 right here. That's running from right to left across your screen. There's 64. This is that area between 64 and 20 that we were looking at earlier. When we were talking about it earlier, it was about on top of 64. So that's the area of concern right now. All right. So if you've got people there between 64 and very near Interstate 20, I think that's the area that I would pay the most attention to, at least at the moment. Kylie says sirens going off in Canton. I'm not surprised to hear that. And there comes the polygon for it. So you guys downstream of this, let's get back onto, let's pull this out a little bit. So the polygon itself does include the city of Canton, but the storm itself is going to be just east of Canton. All right, but taking it on that northeastern trajectory, that's going to run it across I-20. That's going to get it, out towards Sand Flat. Grand Saline would be the next, larger community downstream and inside the polygon. Okay, so we want to be prepared further downstream for that. Fruitvale, you guys are in the polygon, although I have a feeling this is going to pass just to the south or east of you, probably more appropriately said. And again, part of the reason for the jaggedness of these polygons is the fact that the Shreveport Weather Service office takes over jurisdiction once this thing crosses over into Wood County. So, were the same office issuing a warning, this polygon might look a little bit different, but they're running it right along the edge of their what's called county warning area. Same thing applies up here when you're getting into Franklin County out of Hopkins County. Shreveport takes over warning responsibility for Franklin County, and so they will have their own warnings issued downstream, which it looks like they've done for Red River County. So it can get kind of muddled in there. But that's 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings right now that are still active. Watching for what they're going to do with the Henderson County storm. So they're going to let that ride with a severe thunderstorm warning for now, and are obviously watching rotation. If I had to guess on where something might be rotating, it'd probably be down here along 274, just based on what the reflectivity looks like. 274 kind of run it off to the north, to the northeast. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it. We're trying. Hopefully we'll hold out here for you. Heavy rainfall and probably some pocket change, nickels to quarters west side of Athens right now, stretching up north into Bethel. That's along Highway 19 that runs all the way from Athens up through Canton and on up towards Emory. But the rainfall intensity decreases as you get over southern Van Zandt County, and then you pick up this guy here on the west side, or on the east side of Canton, rather. So the Weather Service is calling this a confirmed tornado now for Van Zandt County. So that helps to take any of the doubt out of that. We've got something there that is in fact producing, and so the folks in that area, again, this will be on the east side of Canton, and moving away at about 30 to 35 miles an hour over some rural sections of Van Zandt County, but you've got, after you get north of I-20, Grant Saline ain't far down the road. So you guys in Grant Saline, between Grant Saline and Silver Lake, y'all are inside that polygon. This should stay just to the west of Van. All right, you guys in Van should be all right. But I do want you to keep an eye on the situation there in Van. Were this thing to make some kind of a hard right-hand turn, that would put you guys into that potential danger zone. All right, and let's. It looks like we're going to start to filter this into the Wood County area, and folks therefore in the Weather Service Shreveport jurisdiction, which is what we were expecting to see here. Was just kind of a matter of time on that. So let me get their stuff updated, and then we can discuss the products that are being issued right now. So give me just a moment here. All right, let's do that.
Tornado warning.
All right, Weather Service in Shreveport issuing a tornado warning for Wood in Smith County. This will be extreme northern Smith County, and a good chunk of Wood County, I will say that. Weather Service looking at that storm capable of a tornado near Canton, moving northeast at 35. So they are going to include northwestern Smith and central Wood County. That runs until 4:15, so about an hour from now. All right. So this will include you guys, Mineola, Quitman, Lake Fork, especially south of Lake Fork. This will probably, the worst of the circulation will probably pass south of you guys in Alba, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on. All right, so that has this pretty much. You guys in Winsboro are just just outside of that polygon there. Okay. Excuse me. So let's kind of try to reset where we are here now. That initial Hopkins County warning has moved up into Red River County. So that is good. It's like, let's see here. They're going to be canceling that Northern Hopkins County warning here shortly. At least the northern one. Then you've got the southern one, Hopkins County, which still looks pretty strong. But speaking of strong, let's also talk a second before we do that about this guy here, southwest of Grand Saline. That's an impressive looking signature there. It's a lot of wind. So that's presenting very sharply on the radar. So we're talking southeast of 17. This is north of 20. To give you some landmarks there, you guys south of Grand Saline need to be mindful of this thing. Okay, it's heading your general direction. May pass just to your east, but I would still be prepared to hop in my safe spot if I'm anywhere from I-20 north, or just north of I-20 up towards Grand Saline in Van Zandt County, because that looks like it's trying to get its act together rather impressively. Looking at these winds here. All right. Just trying to reacclimate to what we're doing here. There's a lot of traffic here. Yeah, you guys in Grand Saline, again, I want to stress this, especially, again, on the south side of Grand Saline currently. we need to be right down there in our safe spot. Whatever there is going to be right here in this neighborhood of 1652. All right. And then a new scan just came in. Doesn't look quite as pronounced as it did a second or so ago, or a minute or so ago. This is the same storm that prompted the tornado warning that does clip northwestern Smith County. We're talking really northwestern Smith County, like Jamestown area, kind of the southern outskirts of Mineola. All right, you guys up that way know what I'm talking about. Up to Quitman, Alba. This probably passes just to the south and east of you. My best estimate on that. All right. The Sulphur Springs area, definitely some rotation in there. Looks a little broad, comparatively speaking, but definitely something in that neck of the woods also. And then this guy down south on the east side of Athens. If there's going to be something, it'll be down there southwest side, southwest of Murchison. So it looks like, yeah, they are doing that. Stand by.
Tornado warning.
All right, so we're talking tornado warning now for this storm that we were just talking about there over Henderson County. The polygon will get into Van Zandt County, southeastern Van Zandt County. That would include the folks in Edom as well as Van. Here's the circulation that we're talking about. If there's going to be something, it's going to be in this neck of the woods right here. Okay, so this is east of Athens. You guys look like you're in the box, but I think the problem is really just outside of town, off to the east of you, moving northeast. Weather Service and the NOAA Weather Radio System are sending out this message now, so if you have one of those, you're going to be getting the alarm here shortly. Yeah, so they're pushing that out now for southeastern Van Zandt. So you guys near Murchison, this is going to be coming up on you pretty quick if there's something there. I'm not sure that there is, but there's enough of a play in the atmosphere today where you don't take a lot of chances. So it's moving at a pretty good clip as well. So you guys in western Van Zandt, western Henderson County, rather, you're okay for the time being. You can see the hot storms on the radar here on radar scope. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and then to a lesser degree as you get up closer to the Red River. But this guy here, south side of Grand Saline, really want to take that seriously. Nothing for Lindale yet, Janie. I saw you there. So we got tornado warnings. Cindy asking. We've got Van Zandt County. We've got northern Smith County. We've got southern Wood County involved in this one that's near just to the south side of Grand Saline. You guys in Emory are okay for now. Nothing in your immediate area. There is a tornado warning polygon that does impact south and eastern Rains County, but it's not for you guys in Emory proper. Okay? Absolutely, Marianne. Thank you. This other storm, which prompted a tornado warning, would be just to be to the east of Sulphur Springs. Now, again, not as pronounced on the circulation as its neighbor off to the south near Grand Saline, and then this newer warning, which was just issued for folks in Henderson County. This is going to be east of Athens and northeast of Athens, now near Murchison along 31. I haven't seen any confirmation out of that, but the Weather Service on a day like today is they're gonna play it safe. You guys in Brownsboro, this will probably pass just to the west of y'all in Brownsboro. I see you there, Rhonda. So the showers that we had over western Smith County earlier on seem to have lost some of their composure. There's not really much going on further downstream to the east. Although, let's take a look at this from the Shreveport radar and be sure we're not missing something. Yeah, still pretty quiet. All but one of our 26 counties that I focus on are now under a tornado watch, which is interesting. So let's go back to Fort Worth and stay on that one. So we are getting some damage reports, it looks like, from that storm on the east. That was east of Canton earlier. So that is unfortunate to hear, but not surprising by the same token. Jimmy, I think we had a touchdown. We've got a touchdown in progress over Van Zandt County at the moment. That's the only one that I would say has touched down from everything I can tell and from what the Weather Service is seeing from radar. Sounds like a new product coming out too. All right, stand by.
Tornado warning.
Okay, Weather Service with a new tornado warning now as we run it for northwestern Smith County and southwestern Wood County. That's going to be until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Stand by. So that is going to be for the storm located near Brownsboro, or 9 miles northeast of Athens, moving northeast at 45. So that's going to be for this guy down here in Henderson County. So they're going to go ahead and run that warning across northern Smith County. This will be north of the city of Tyler, but it does have Lindale and Hideaway and those areas of northwestern Smith County are inside the polygon for the moment. This is radar indicated, this particular one. This is a separate tornado apart from the Van Zandt County tornado that has been confirmed. So do want to lay some context to that. Thanks, Gordon. Appreciate you, man. So you guys in Hideaway, Lindale, you guys along 64, northern Smith County. This will also pass again northwest of the city of Chandler, in that polygon storm out near Brownsboro at the moment. So let's get back. There's a lot of noise in this area here, which is hard to determine.
Central Daylight Time. Lake Fork Reservoir around 3:35 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Pleasant Grove around 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm and Forest Hill. To repeat, a tornado is on the ground. Move to a base also in the room on the lowest floor of a 30 building. The National Weather Service has reissued outdoors tornado warning for Smith County. Vehicle but they have shortened it until 4 o'clock p.m. Central Time, so for another 30 minutes. Daylight time for north central and counties.
All right, so we've got some more impressive hail now from Opelika back up towards Mars and into what would be southern Van Zandt County back towards Brownsboro. The storm that has prompted the new warning for Smith County and has a radar indicated tornado would be near the Brownsboro area, it looks like, at this point, if there's something there. And that is what's led to the new warning downstream into Smith County. This would be the one that would be problematic for you guys in Hideaway, Lindale, and that northwestern part of Smith County. But again, that is separate from the other tornado warning, which is a confirmed tornado, which is now closing in on the Smith and Van Zandt County line. There's Highway 17 northeast of Grant Saline. That thing is still presenting better than anything else on the radar to me at the moment. So this thing is going to be crossing into Wood County here very quickly. You guys, Alba, if you're in Alba, you need to stay off of 69 going south towards Mineola, because this thing's going to cross 69 between Mineola and Alba shortly. All right. If you make out what I'm trying to say here, there's our issue. Here's 69. All right. So this thing is going to cross just like that. So if you've got people who are traveling between Mineola and Alba, you need to let them know they need to get south or north, whatever they need to do to get out of the way of this thing. All right. So that's a confirmed one. That continues moving off to the northeast at about 35 to 40 miles an hour.
Moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado and quarter sign. Source, radar indicated location.
Absolutely, Gail. Glad to help out. It is 3:33, and we'll continue to watch this as long as the tornado warnings are on the scope and I have voice left. We'll stick here and walk through it with you. It's going to be a while, though, so hopefully you're in a safe spot. The confirmed thing that we've had so far is this guy right along the Wood and Van Zandt County line. Really, the Wood Rains Van Zandt County line. But just as I say that and I start looking at the radar there, just on the east or west side of Brownsboro, this thing is starting to show more organizational characteristics to it as well. This is right along Highway 31 there in Henderson County. So you guys there who are in Brownsboro, but especially on the west side of Brownsboro, between Brownsboro and Murchison, this is going to be crossing 31 here, if not already, is going to do that. But just like that, the scan gets a little bit muddier as we move further away from that Fort Worth radar. We have more and more issues getting over into Smith County and Wood County, and those north-south counties that are just on the fringe of that Fort Worth radar side and on the fringe of the Shreveport side. So that's been a long time concern of mine and many others in the weather community.
In southeast Grant County until 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. A tornado warning remains in effect until 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time for northwestern Smith and Central Wood counties. At 3:18 p.m. Central Daylight.
So I see you there. I see you, Sarah. So you're between Alba and Mineola, 69 and an RV. All right. If there's something going on, it's going to be right there, probably just east of Highway 17, between 17 and 69. This will be approaching Highway 69 quickly, if not already there. It's going to be there very quickly. Okay. So.
Number 113 remains in effect until 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following
Yeah, so this is right there in that Alba Golden area. TDS, Kyle, I have I haven't seen anything, man, of yet that's just really screaming. I mean,
from northwestern Smith and Central Wood counties. At 3:18 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a confirmed tornado was located near Green 14 miles northeast of Canton, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Hazard: damaging tornado and quarter-size hail. Short, law enforcement confirmed tornado.
all right, we're 3:38 now. Tornado warnings for a number of counties. Let's go back onto Omega, and it'll kind of play that out a little bit more easy to see. So we got warnings for Smith County, southern, southwestern Wood County, northwestern Wood County. There's the part of extreme northeastern Van Zant County, the Henderson County, extreme southeastern Van Zant County as well. Nothing for Tyler at the moment. Everything is still off to the west. You guys in Quitman, be mindful of this storm that is still making tracks right there, probably just south of Alba on 69, crossing and heading to the northeast, probably going to pass just to the north of you guys in Quitman. So good there. Sulphur Springs, you've got another tornado warning up in northeastern Hopkins County. And then an accompanying warning for our neighbors in Franklin County, just to the east of that, just to the east of the Hopkins and Franklin County line. Weather Service has got a Clarksville. I got a tornado warning now for Red River County up near Clarksville. Weather Service thinks they have what looks like some type of a debris signature there right now with that Clarksville tornado. So that's not what you want to see or hear. Brownsboro schools have taken shelter. Corey, good. I think I saw that many of the students are sheltering in place as well. So that's what you want to see. Here's a loop of how this stuff has progressed over the last couple of minutes. Rebecca said, folks, UT Health on 271 taking shelter. Okay. John, nothing for Kilgore for the time being, man. You guys have got a little ways to go.
We are tracking is still 32 across the I-80 corridor. If I have any station in between Glendale, north of I-20 from Glendale back west towards Van. Prepare for potentially dangerous weather. They all start to move across the northwestern part of Smith County.
All right. So, as we run here for the next 30 to 60 minutes, we're going to have some high population counties under the most direct impact from these storms. It would be that northern Smith County area, as well as a good chunk of Wood County from a couple of storms. There's a new scan coming in from Weather Service in Fort Worth. It's a decent hail core there from Ben Wheeler back to the east, over towards Primrose, and over to Midway. This is really long and just north of 64. I think I saw reports potentially upwards to a ping pong ball hail in some of this. So yeah, that's some very, very respectable hail there. And you guys too, who are with us up in Red River County, this is turning into a significant situation there. Looks like a tornado on the ground, moving into Clarksville as we speak. I've got some people that I love very much who have ties to Clarksville. So I want to be sure those folks up that way are taken care of. They don't fall directly into my area of expertise, but like I said, they're close to the heart to some people that I care about. So, you guys in Franklin County continue under tornado warning. North and east of Sulphur Springs, tornado warning there as well. Radar indicated. This thing near Alba continues moving to the north and east. Let's look at that on velocity product. So the storm now, the better circulation is going to be, like we talked about, probably passing just north of Quitman. It's still an impressive looking allotment of wind there. If there's nothing else going on, you still got some 50 to 60 mile an hour winds probably. This will be east of Alba now. This will be north of 69, approaching Highway 154, which goes northwest out of Quitman. Okay. And a heck of a lot of rain in that as well. Ashley says they're in shelter in Edom, and it is loud out there. Yeah, I believe that. Let's get back into this Edom area real quick. There's a lot of wind going on in there, y'all. There's a couple of 80 mile an hour pixels. There's another 80. So this is getting northeast of Edom. This is 64 right here, by the way. So to give you some perspective on that. So this is going to pass. Let's run a loop on this real quick. So 64. Zoom out a little bit there. All right. So we'll get this thing just through that southeastern sliver of Van Zandt County. And then once it crosses that, it's into western Smith County. So you guys, Hideaway Lake, Lindale, you need to be ready to move on this, okay? If you've got family members, people that you care about in that between Edom and Hideaway Lake, let's get them hooked up. Okay, let them know what's going on. They probably do already, but you would be glad to know that they did have a heads up on this. Same for Lindale in that area. Really in it, that area there, that corridor there, Garden Valley and the like. Of course, remember we do live stream this. If your folks are not into the Facebook or X space, maybe they're on YouTube. Don't forget we do broadcast these live on YouTube as well. So another avenue for folks to be able to bring us in. Yeah, and Hap called a while ago. We can check with her.
Yes.
Please. Thank you.
Or internet sources for the latest severe weather. Until 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time and Cherokee and Rock. Tornado watch number 114 remains in effect until 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following counties in Texas: Henderson, and Van Zandt. Remember, a tornado watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes, large hail and damaging winds.
I can hear some thunder. I can hear some thunder here in town.
Here at the loop in 64 at Sonic, just kind of holding back and waiting. Do they need to just stay there, or
Are they going to their house, or are they going into town?
They said they had heard someone was heading toward Lindale, so they're not going to their house right now. But they're just sitting.
I would stay there for now. Stay there for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, he's going to just.
Tornado watch number 113 remains in effect until 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following counties in Texas: Cherokee, Florida, Smith, and Wood. Remember, a tornado watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather.
Northwestern part of Lindale and Hideaway area is still under a tornado warning.
Severe weather imminent. Persons remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listening for later statements and possible warnings.
Just seeing a picture in our weather service chat room from 110 and 243 from earlier. Apparently, it's a heck of a funnel there. Can't tell if it was on the ground or not, but it was impressive looking. So let's start to reset this as we're at 3:49 now. The storm is getting into northern and northwestern Smith County at this time. You guys, Hideaway Lake, Garden Valley, those areas along 110, I-20. Be aware that this thing is coming up out of the southwest. There's your bullseye. That's your bullseye right there. Okay. There's Hideaway, Lindale. Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Henderson County, which makes sense with the storm having moved out of there and about to exit out of Van Zandt County too. So you guys in Henderson County are tornado warning clear now. Van Zandt County, you are still inside the tornado warning for the extreme southeastern part of the county. Smith County, you're next up. Northern Smith County, this will be north of Tyler. This will be the northern part of the county up Lindale, Hideaway, in that area there.
Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damaged roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. over mainly rural areas of southeastern Van Zandt County, including the following locations: Redmond and Primrose. Take cover now. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter now. Get a room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building and avoid windows. Repeating, a tornado warning remains in effect until 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following county: Van Zandt, Texas. You're listening to your weather radio. Station WXT 36, broadcasting in timer on 160
to our
Be
west,
sure to follow
around
us on Facebook.
we're reporting hail
With the
behind
local weather
hail.
conditions.
All right, so we've got a pretty decent hail threat here from Garden Valley on the north end down to I-20 and then over into the really the border of what would be Van Zandt County and Smith County. I would bet you there's probably some quarters to probably $50 in that area there on the north end, Garden Valley, south end of that, just south of 1995 would be a best guess on that location. And then south of that is where you're going to have the potential tornadic circulation. But this again is going to be north of New Harmony, kind of there where those counties all meet. Let's get back up on this thing up near Yanis. So northern Wood County, north of Quitman. This is a storm that was over near Alba earlier. It continues to track off to the northeast at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. The best rotation there is going to be south of Yanis. So yeah, that's 154. This will be just to the east of 154 now. So we're talking extreme northern Wood County. Well, north of Quitman. But that will scoot over and clip southeastern Hopkins County here shortly. So you guys up in that neck of the woods, be aware of that. And there you go, just like that.
Tornado warning.
So Weather Service going with a tornado warning now for southeastern Hopkins County. So that's for this guy here. The warning goes till 4:15. Storm capable of a tornado 7 miles north of Lake Fork Reservoir or 14 miles west of Winsboro, moving north at 50. So tornado and quarter-sized hail possible there. So that's this guy. That's this guy that's going to continue scooting off. So that will include you guys in Como. Looks like they're going to keep Hopkins. They're going to keep Sulphur Springs in there as well. But I think the brunt of that is going to pass to the southeast of Sulphur Springs, but that does put Como in the mix on that as this thing continues moving northeast at about 50 miles an hour. Back into Smith County, still a heck of a wind signature. I'm looking at this area down here just due east of Edom. That seems to have a bit more kind of going with it at the moment, which is a little further to the south.
In effect until 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following county: Van Zandt.
So the Weather Service is keeping a close tab on this. That's on this general area of northern Smith County. Still has a lot of rotation in it. but they as well saying it's not a high confidence debris situation, which means they basically can't infer from the radar if there's any kind of debris being lofted up or not. Which, if there was debris being lofted up, that indicates that the tornado is actually on the ground and doing something, and disrupting some things and putting some water-based items in the air, something other than hailstones or raindrops, things like that. But in a situation like this, it's hard to really read what it is, due in large part to the fact that the radars are so far away from this particular corridor of East Texas. It's a tough spot. Tyler's looking fine. Connor, for right now, man, this is all going to stay to the north of Tyler for the time being. But again, you can see differing areas of circulation here. It's a large space. You guys in Hideaway, west side of Hideaway, need to be ready to hunker down here on this. Yeah, all right. That's no surprise there. Stand by.
Tornado warning.
All right, so Weather Service is going to go with this new warning now for Smith County, northwestern Smith County, central Wood County, and west central Upshur County. We'll run that until 4:45. So we're at 3:57 right now. Storm capable of a tornado, located near Lindale or 12 miles south of Mineola. It's moving northeast at 35. So quarters and a tornado possible with that. So that takes us out to 4:45. Sirens are going off in Lindale, Brooke says. All right, thanks for that. Not surprised by that. I wouldn't be I don't know if they even have an outdoor warning system in Hideaway, but if they do, I'm sure it's in full fling as well. Oh, thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Thank you much. So hail now north of Garden Valley. If there's going to be something in there, it's probably going to be running quarters to $half. Might be something a little bit bigger than that, but again, that's Garden Valley, just north of Garden Valley. If you're seeing any hail there, so here's 16. Garden Valley, 110 and 16, kind of cross up there. Tyler, the city proper, is not involved in any of these tornado polygons, and there are several of them in the northern part of the county, but nothing doing for the city, at least at the moment. So it'll be 4 o'clock here just in a few seconds, and we will continue to stick with you on this until the threat subsides or my voice gives out. But notice all of the tornado warning polygons here, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You might be able to throw a 10th in there. A lot of them overlap, but that's an impressive showing, and that's why the Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center was sounding the alarm on that moderate risk. I know it's been a bit of an interesting week with a lack of rain and storms in a lot of people's backyards, but there's not a better outfit to cover and forecast severe weather in the world than those guys and gals at SPC in Norman. So They obviously nailed this one today for sure. So as we hit 4 o'clock, we'll see some polygons fall off, and so that'll help to take some of the confusion out of the way. So Megan says van's got a bus pulled over on 64 past the airport. We just lost Tyler Noah weather radio. Dadgummit. Yeah. Well, I hate that. So Tyler Noah weather radio is now off the air. The stick for that thing is behind the back gate of Hideaway Lake. There's a tower back there. I think the ranch is on that stick. But when you've got this kind of lightning, that's not surprising that they lost that. Yeah, gee, it did. Let me let Weather Service know that too, just in case they can reset it. All right, so we were looking in on these van kiddos. 64 just past the airport. Yeah, I'd let this. I'd give yourself a little bit of time before you try to go back toward van on 64. I'm assuming y'all are going to go out to maybe Ben Wheeler and then come into van from the south, but I wouldn't do that for right now. I'd stay back and let this thing cross. But again, if you get warnings through the Tyler Noah weather radio, that is going to be down for the time being due to a lightning strike. It's been trying to pick up here in Tyler, but not much doing so far. So we've got hail near and north of Lindale now. North side of Lindale from up 69 up to, dang near the Wood County line. So let's get back and see what we've got from. So we've got some hefty wind there approaching 69 from the west, southwest. This will be on the north side of Lindale. It's hard to tell what's going on in there. You can tell you got an awful lot of outbound wind coming from the Fort Worth radar site, and then potentially an area of circulation very near the Wood-Smith County line, north side of Lindale. And then I'm also keeping an eye on this area down here, due south of Hideaway, south of Interstate 20. Yeah, but I wouldn't have them go back now. I would stay where they are for now. Not until this thing.
Yeah, they can't come here because we're safe.
Until this thing clears to the west.
Is it going to head out toward Bennett's side?
I don't.
And if it does, they were thinking about going to that bank parking lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of in a low spot.
Yeah.
Is that a good place for them to be?
If they can get out of the way of any hail.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, he said that would be a good place.
So again, just watching a couple of areas that could be circulating. It's really tough to know with as high as the radar beam is by the time it gets out this far from Fort Worth. So we've got this more pronounced circulation over what would be northwestern Titus County. This would be a good ways north of Mount Pleasant. Another tornado warned there. And then just what looks like a really large, that's just a large mesocyclone over northwestern Smith County. Again, we're looking at this from Fort Worth's perspective. So you've got, this is how the winds are blowing in this thing. Anything in a green shading is blowing back in towards Fort Worth. Anything with a red shading is blowing away from it. That is a large. But again, you're hitting the storm so high, by the time it leaves Fort Worth, it's traveling at a half a degree off of the horizon. So it's increasing in its height as it moves further and further away. So it could be 8,000-9,000 feet up in the air. So you're seeing really high there, which makes it all the more hard to know what's going on down at the ground. So let's do this. Let's get back on the Shreveport. All right. Let's get these guys over here too. Showers again increasing in coverage over the city of Tyler right now, which we haven't had much of here for a while. Sirens in Lindale, Jerry, thanks for that.
Northwestern part of Smith County is still under a tornado warning until 4:45 p.m. Central Time. To which know that weather services tracking is over the Atlantic area. Warm area northwest of 323 all.
If you've got anybody in the Lindale area, I'd be interested to see, especially north side of Lindale, what you guys are seeing there at this point. Looks like I think the worst of it, hail-wise, is getting up close to Highway 80, which would be on the east side of Mineola out towards Horde and New Hope. Anything as far as circulation goes is still rather hard to define. But it doesn't look as pronounced as it did a few scans ago. Absolutely, Roxy. Appreciate it. All right, looks like they are going to, yeah, they are, aren't they?
Flash flood warning.
All right, Weather Service is going to issue a flash flood warning now for northwestern Smith, west central Upshur, and southeastern Wood County. That's going to go till 7:15. Radar indicating between 1 and 2 inches of rain has fallen, additional up to an inch possible. So that's a problem there in this particular area of Wood and Smith and Upshur County. Looks like this circulation, at least what could be that, is east of 69 now, approaching the Wood Smith County line. I would venture a guess if there's something going on, it's going to be probably right in here. That's just my estimate on that. I haven't seen anything that indicates anything on the ground in the Lindale area. Stacy says we're driving south, but our adult kids are in the shelter. Lots of hail and high wind. We are northwest of Lindale. Okay. East side of Mineola, very hard rain, winds picking up. Okay. Thanks for that, Madison. Or Rebecca, I'm sorry. All right, still got some pretty decent wind out there. West side of Lindale. That's what this brighter green and blue shading is indicating. So even if the tornadic circulation or that threat has moved off, there's still some, I'd say there's going to be some pretty decent wind there. Kind of trailing. Like behind. This will be north of Hideaway. Hailing in Mineola. Okay, Brad, thanks for that. Any indication on the hail size, Brad, I would appreciate it, man, if you can. Safely do that if you can. I totally understand. Oh, thanks, Natalie. I appreciate it. Thank you kindly. Crazy wind at the junior high in Lindale. All right. You bet, John. Thank you. So we're coming up on 4:15 now. A couple of tornado warnings are still in place. We've got a flash flood warning also in place for northern Smith County. Generally the same area that this large mass of showers and thunderstorms has been moving over. So there's one large tornado warning for northern Smith County, for southeastern Wood County, and for extreme southwestern, what would be Upshur County. And then the flash flood warning around that. Back up to the north, neighbors in extreme northern Franklin County, northern Titus County, tornado warning there. But you guys also a flash flood warning there. with the accompanying heavy rain there. Sirens going off in Mineola now, Tiffany. Okay, thank you for that. Looks like the more impressive of this is going to pass just to the east of you guys, but so that's good to see at least a turn down in the counties involved in this stuff.
Go ahead. Andrew, the power's off in Idaho, along with certain utilities such as internet over.
So it sounds like we got a pretty good power outage situation in now Hideaway Lake now, which is not surprising. Probably be the case for further downstream as well as the thing tracks.
I assume that it's passed. Is that correct? What do you think passed? But it's that storm cell has a little tail away. So I'll play it safe for a few more minutes if you can. Okay, appreciate it, because you're the only source of information we have to where this thing is. So just let me know when it's passed, by the way, and I'll give you a report over. Storm. Okay, yeah, and as I described, most of it is at and moving and has moved through Lindale, but the tail comes behind it still.
So you guys in Tyler proper. Had some folks asking about Tyler. All's quiet here for the time being. Main circulation off to the north, well north of Tyler. Thunder's more apparent here in town now, though, as the rain and kind of this arcing band of showers and thunderstorms continues moving in from the west. It'll be interesting to watch for any additional development down to the south here. This air mass to the south has not been tapped like the stuff to the north has. So you've got a big pocket of real estate down here that has an air mass that has seen really nothing up to this point, and so that sets it up for potential quick development if it were to decide to go that direction. Wouldn't be anything inhibiting that. So when I see stuff down here like at Palestine and the shower southeast of Tyler, those are little areas that I want to keep an eye on. Got some thunder and lightning in there now. So those are just areas that we want to watch for the potential of additional development to occur in the next couple of hours. .420 now. Tornado warning for another 25 minutes for Smith County, as well as this will be for northern Smith County, by the way. For northern Smith County and Upshur County and Wood County till 4:45. North of there, tornado warning for the folks up into northern Franklin County, Bowie, and northern Titus County, Franklin, Titus, and Red River counties. It's a damaging tornado up there. Wind's definitely picking up here in the city of Tyler now, on the south side of town at least. Let's get back up here and look at this guy real quick too. Yeah, so that circulation north of Mount Pleasant. This is really up into Red River County now. South of Clarksville. It'll pass southeast of Clarksville. But that's a very broad, big area. A lot of lightning in there too. So you see that shower down there near Palestine. Some thunder in there now. Trying to get itself going in this free air down here that has not been tapped into. And that's something we want to pay very close attention to. And while we're not seeing any rainfall in the South Tyler, we are seeing it out towards Chapel Hill on the east side of town. You guys in Holly Lake Ranch, I know you're keeping an eye on this stuff too. Very muddy on the radar in this area as far as velocity product is concerned. If I had to hazard a guess, it's an awful hard could be something in this little area right along the Smith-Wood County line north of Highway 80. That's the best guess for me on what could be happening there just based off of the lower reflectivity returns. But that'll continue tracking off to the northeast, and Holly Lake Ranch is inside that polygon, that tornado warning polygon. But again, this is well south and east of Quitman, as it is for Mineola. Autumn's got thunder, rain, and hail there. Yeah, Lindale's going to be quieting down here in a bit. We'll get we've still got some pretty heavy rain in the Lindale area for the time being, but there's not a ton coming back at you guys from the southwest. So that speaks better for your overall prognosis going forward. Say that. Got my hot tea right here. So, yeah. Felicia, we're trying. We are trying. 426 now. Tornado warning for northern Smith County, although the brunt of this is quickly getting up into the Wood County side. So we'll continue to watch that over the next few minutes. Heavy rainfall, though, extends back well to the southwest of whatever circulation we may be dealing with, which would pass west of Hawkins. You guys in Holly Lake Ranch, it's heading in your general direction, but again, as far as anything that's made contact with the ground or has any significant identification to it on radar as the tornado, it's really hard to make much of that out right now. Although there's some pixels down there that are coming up in this last scan, which could be bad data, could be something there, but it's hard with all of this noise. It's tough to know for sure. But you can definitely tell there's a lot of wind in this little pocket of northern Smith County right now, subsiding back to the southwest towards Lindale. Thomas had a big strike of lightning there in Lindale. Okay. Let's get back to radar Omega here. So watch these showers. More rain continues to blossom over eastern Smith County. And you got this guy down there, Palestine. So still several tornado warnings, but not the concentration of them that we had 45 minutes to an hour or so ago, which is good. Mount Pleasant, Dangerfield, Alejandro. I think you guys in that area, the tornadic stuff is north of Mount Pleasant. Dangerfield, nothing in the area that is a concern to me right now in Morris County, or Cass County, or Marion County for that matter. We had some interesting stuff over Marion County and I think it was Cass County yesterday, with what looked like we had a tornado warning in both of those areas over the past 2 days, but nothing doing in that area, at least for the time being. The main show seems to be kind of working along a line.
Hey, sweetie, does it say for your parents to head home? He's looking right now.
I think if they want to, they're going to drive through some heavy rain. But yeah.
Okay, would you feel more comfortable if they hold out a few minutes?
If they want to for 10 or 15 more.
Okay.
But the tornado issue's well north of there now. Okay. But if they wanted to they're going to go through some pretty good rain.
Okay. Do you need any more tea?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks, baby. Love you.
Okay.
Angel's got heavy thunder east of Tyler. Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that, Angel. Yeah, you can see that starting to ramp up over there. Doing the same down towards Palestine. Look at all that. Starting to light up. So we're at 4:30 now, coming up on 4:31. The tornado warning for northern Smith County, south and eastern portions of Wood County, extreme southwestern Upshur County for another 14 minutes. That goes till 4:45. The bulk of that threat has now moved, or is in the process of getting into Wood County. This area up in northern Titus County, tornado warning for you guys. Red River County, $half size hail and an observed tornado up in that area, 7 miles east of Pagoda. So for you folks up north, nothing doing Jacksonville right now. Cherokee County, Nax quiet, Angelina quiet, St. Augustine, Shelby, Panola, Rusk, Harrison, all quiet for now. But you can start to see additional showers. Look at that blossoming right there over southeastern Smith County. And the lightning, too, that's starting to pop, as well as the lightning down around this storm in Palestine. Okay, so we're not done with this yet. Whether or not these things are able to produce anything other than rain and maybe some hail is yet to be determined. But in the climate that we're in this afternoon, bet on them being able to do more than just that. Kimmy asking about Tyler. It's hard to say at the moment. I want to keep an eye on this stuff down southwest of us because as it tracks north and east, that's going to be a player for us in the city in the next 35 to 55 minutes or so. Right as you're getting into prime drive time. So let's continue to kind of work our way around here. Heavy rainfall, Lindale area, Hideaway, back down into the Van Zandt County area and Henderson County for that matter, north of Brownsboro. Once you get south of 31 out towards Brownsboro, rainfall intensity drops off quite a bit. You guys in Canton, you're quiet. Grand Saline, quiet to have some scattered lightning strikes over in that Van Zandt County area, but nothing terribly impressive. Ditto that for Rains County and Hopkins County, which is kind of where all this really got started here a couple of hours ago. Southern Franklin County, you've got heavy rainfall. Northern Franklin County, you got the flash flood warning, and that extends over into northern Titus County, well north of Mount Pleasant. And then the tornado warning polygon has been trimmed out of northern Titus County to include Red River County and that area over closer to DeKalb. Morris County is pretty quiet at the moment, as is Cass County, with some showers there starting to blossom or trying to blossom north of Linden. Quiet down the eastern side, Jefferson, Marion County, Marshall, Carthage, Center, St. Augustine. So here comes a new scan. Showers and thunderstorms continue to expand over Anderson County. Could be maybe a little bit of small hail south of Palestine. Weather Service says they are closely monitoring this stuff here over Anderson County, so they're seeing that as well. looks like the Weather Service is going to start to pull some counties, some of our western counties, from the tornado watch box as we get closer to the 5 o'clock time frame. So that would be the only counties that they've got to cancel would have to be Hopkins and Rains and Van Zandt County and Henderson County, as best I can tell. They might leave Henderson County in there for a little bit longer, just out of respect for whatever potentially could build and go northward out of Anderson County and clip that county. But that'll be something that we'll have to just wait and see for them to make a determination on that. Showers still continuing to develop further north of Overton, across eastern Smith County, along and south of 31. Rainfall light to moderate there over Winona.
And we're still under a flash flood warning until a little bit after 7 o'clock.
Jessica asked what I was talking about with the freer air down south. What we're talking about is this air mass down here hasn't had any thunderstorms that have blown up in it, so the air mass hasn't been some of that juice can be consumed kind of like fuel, and so when you have an area that hasn't seen any activity yet, when you're staring 5 o'clock in the face in this kind of an environment, there's still a lot of volatility down here to the south that has been consumed off to the west, where these storms initially started to blossom and really went nuts really fast. So that's what I was referring to down in this area that just hadn't been touched yet. Whether or not that means we have more severe thunderstorms pop up down that way is yet to be determined. But it is something that I think is worth noting. So stand by one here.
Tornado warning.
All right, at 4:37, the Weather Service issuing a tornado warning for western Marion, southeastern Wood, Upshur, southern Morris, southeastern Titus, and Camp County until 5:30. 4:36. A tornado-producing storm was located near Hawkins, or 15 miles west of Gilmer, going northeast at 45. So that's going to be this guy right down here. All right, this is the one we were looking at. I told you it was hard to really make heads or tails of what was going on, but now that we've had a few more scans come back, look at this going on down here on the south side of Holly Lake Ranch. That looks a lot more impressive than anything we've seen over the last 10 to 15 minutes. So that's why the Weather Service went with the warning. There is concern this could be a significant tornado. In fact, with that kind of presentation, again, we're looking at winds. This is from the Shreveport radar site, so we're looking at winds that are blowing in towards Shreveport and away from Shreveport in a very tight pattern there. Okay, so if there is something that is producing, it's going to be on that just south of Holly Lake Ranch, really over into Wood County proper. I think outside of Smith County, most likely, given the delay on this radar image. It takes a couple minutes for this thing to process and get through, and you could see some lower radar returns on the reflectivity side here. See, it almost looks like a little hole. You got these heavier returns on the north side, heavier returns on the south side, and a little bit of a loss there in the middle. So could be nothing, but I think for myself, I'm going to place it in this general neck of the woods here. So you guys in Holly Lake Ranch need to be ready to take those tornado precautions here pretty fast. If you've got friends in Holly Lake Ranch, it's a really tough sell area out that way, at least for me. When I'm showing property in Holly Lake Ranch, I'm lucky to get a AT&T signal at all. So if you've got people who are out that way, excuse me, who have got AT&T service, or if you're just unsure of what they know, if they know what's going on, I would get them dialed in to be sure. You got a lot of trees out there, a lot of heavy pines, a lot of things that can obstruct the view for folks in that area. So I don't like stuff sneaking up on people, but I fear that this could be one of those days where that could happen. So that's an impressive looking circulation there now. So you've got velocity on the right, reflectivity on the left. You can see that little weaker spot there on the left-hand side, which co-locates with the better winds on the reflectivity side, and a lot of lightning in there too, man. Not much hail though. So that's our latest tornado warning. Let's plot that out here on radar Omega. So this will take into account, I mean, it's got Gilmer in the polygon, but I think it passes north of Gilmer, barring some major right-hand turn. This thing is gonna track over through Upshur County and make tracks towards 271, which is also why they included Camp County in there like they did. 442 right now. Candace asking about Tyler State Park. I think you guys are okay at State Park for the moment. I think this will pass just to the south of you guys. There's the state park right there. So y'all are not in the polygon technically either, just south of it. And Lord knows you got a lot of trees to try to see what's going on. So, but I think y'all are okay for the moment up that way. The real problem is going to be a good ways north of you. Yeah, Marjorie, tornado warning. You did see that from Morris County. That is correct. All right, so the Weather Service is seeing a tornado debris signature on the radar west of Hawkins. And they've had some video confirmation of that as well. So that jives with what we were seeing. That's this thing here that has moved northeast. Yeah, there's your debris signature right there. See that little area? Let's do this here. See this little area right here where I'm on the bottom right hand square. See that that lighter area of reflectivity, that lower correlation coefficient? What the radar there is seeing is something that does not correlate to a raindrop or a hailstone or something, of that nature. Where the radar sees something that does not correlate to that, it will infer that is something potentially, whatever it could be. It's not a raindrop or a hailstone. So it gets a lower correlation coefficient than everything else out here around it. Okay. So then we're talking about a tornado debris signature. That pocket south of Holly Lake Ranch is what you're looking at. And since we had some video confirmation earlier of the of a tornado west of Hawkins, that's the result of that there. That's what you have happen when other things are lofted into the air and the radar beam sees it, whether that's shingles or tires or who knows what, but it's not. It doesn't correlate to that water side of the equation. So that's what gets you. that kind of a situation there. So good on them. You can see this thing wrapped up nicely over Holly Lake. You can kind of make it out too on the reflectivity process product on the left-hand side of the screen. If you kind of make out a little bit of you can kind of make out how it could be rotating a little bit there. In fact, let's do that. Let's run that. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that big mesocyclone there. All right, Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warning, and they're giving a considerable damage tag to this storm, which is going to be right now in effect until 5:30. Western Marion, southeastern Wood, Upshur, southern Morris, southeastern Titus, and Camp counties. At 4:46, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is how they're describing this. Was located over Rosewood or 10 miles west of Gilmer, moving northeast at 45. So this is what they would refer to as a particularly dangerous situation. We need to be in our safe place in the path of this storm. Okay. This will be passing now just to the east of Holly Lake Ranch. Here's Highway 49. All right, so we're right along 49. This will be crossing then 154 kind of cuts off. So here's Gilmer. And there's 154 going northwest out of Gilmer. So this will be crossing 154 shortly. All right, let's get over on Omega, and that'll paint this up, I think, a little bit better. All right. Yeah, there that is. So there's 154. Gilmer's over here. Holly Lake is here. This is west of Holly Lake, or east of Holly Lake. Comes a new scan. New scan in here now coming up. There it is. Yeah, that's presenting very well. So again, Weather Service confirmed this. We've got the damage, the debris signature from the correlation coefficient. You'll hear some people refer to that on the TV side as the damage tracker or something like that. But they're looking at some of these newer products that we don't bust out a whole lot because it gets confusing, but it's nice to have them when you've got a situation where you're trying to determine, is the radar beam seeing something ordinarily associated with precipitation, or is it seeing something foreign to that? And in this case, it was seeing some debris being lofted up. So that's how they can confirm. And then also they've had, I think, some video of that as well from I don't know if it was chasers or if it was just some general public who saw that, but I'm sorry for not being able to see all the comments. But you guys in Gilmer, you are in that polygon. This thing will pass probably just to the north and west of the city of Gilmer. If you're on the west side of Gilmer along 154, any of those arteries going northwest out of Gilmer, you're going to need to be ready for this thing to pass right across there, traveling from southwest to northeast. Okay. Polygon does include Camp County, includes southern Titus County, southern Morris County. That's a really impressive looking return right there. Yeah, so this thing is getting into Upshur County quickly. Yeah, so it's in Upshur County. This is the Upshur County line right here, this yellow line going from north to south. So we're plainly over in Upshur County now. All right, so you guys who are in this area, let's talk a little bit again about the tornado safety precautions that we want to take. Centermost part of the structure that you're in, lowest floor of that building. Want to avoid the windows, small interior rooms, closets, or best. Below ground is best, but short of that, small interior rooms or a closet, great place to be. Bathtubs are nice. If you can get a heavy blanket, throw that over the top of you. You've got some 4 little walls right there around you. All right, if you can get a mattress over you, all the better. Most folks can't navigate those things too easily, so let's just suffice for a heavy blanket or a comforter, a bedspread, something that's got some weight to it, and get that thing over you and into that bathtub. We want to avoid large open rooms like gymnasiums and auditoriums. I know a lot of the kids at the schools at this point, we've had schools out by this point, but I know we've also had a lot of people who have been trying to figure out what the heck they need to do with the kiddos from back at a couple hours ago when these things started to pop. So if you've got kids in those particular types of spaces, we want to move them out of there and put them into some more tightly confined space if we can. We don't want to seek shelter under bridges or overpasses. Not a good place to be. You're going to put yourself underneath even stronger winds or inside of stronger winds in that kind of a situation than you would if you were out in the wide open. Think about putting your thumb over the end of a water hose. All right, you start to constrict that space around where that water's coming out, the water's going to move faster. The same thing applies when you start to try to get yourself underneath a bridge and you're running wind under there. You're going to see a lot stronger wind underneath that bridge, just like you would if you stuck your thumb over the edge of that water hose. All right, hopefully that kind of makes some sense. Vehicles are not a good option unless you're driving away from the storm, and you need to know the direction the storm's going before you know the direction you need to go so that you're not driving into the storm. Okay, evacuate mobile homes. If you are in a mobile home and you are on the north side of Gilmer up along 271 or 2088, we need to be getting into that safe spot, preferably not inside a mobile home. Whether you've got tie downs or any of that stuff, that's not where you want to be in a tornado with something bearing down on you. Okay, so hopefully you've got a plan in place with a neighbor or someplace nearby that's a little more fortified that you can get into until this thing passes. Shoes and helmets, always encourage, especially the shoes. All right, closed-toed shoes at that. Don't want you walking around with flip-flops, open-toed stuff. There's a lot of debris that can potentially be in your way after something like this crosses, and the last thing you need is to get your feet cut up, okay? Helmets are nice if you've got, a bike helmet or something like that, particularly if you can get it on the kids. I prefer that all the better, all right? If you got some goggles, throw those on too. So that's just a couple of things that I like to think about when we're in these kinds of situations. So let's go back to radar and look at this again from our perspective. It's 4:55 now, coming up on 4:56. We have been tracking tornadoes for the last couple of hours, and the most intense circulation to date, I would say, is probably this thing over Upshur County now. It's western Upshur County. This is going to pass north of Gilmer, northwest of Gilmer. You guys in Wood County, the circulation has passed. You were under a tornado warning for this earlier, but the main game is now into this part of Upshur County. All right, here's 2088. We'll put a few more small communities in here. There's 852, Souls Chapel, Grice. Excuse me. There's Rosewood. So this circulation is going to be right in this neck of the woods here. Okay. You guys further downstream, here's 271. Major artery going in and out of Gilmer. Weather Service says strong circulation potentially currently crossing 154 west of Gilmer. So, yeah, that's what we were just saying. So we'll put it somewhere between 154 and 852. Let's look at this thing. Let's pull this guy up again. Yeah, it's hard to make out much of a debris signature in this. I'm not seeing much there for now. So I'd rather that be the case. So we're going to hang on this, but I do want to look back quickly at what else we've got cooking, because I can hear thunder coming into town, into Tyler. So as we were talking about, we've seen a lot more showers and whatnot developing to the southwest over Anderson County. It's pretty good rain in there. There's a cell near Natchez, another one near Berryville. You can also see you can make out, see the circulation there. All these things are rotating today. Even if there's no tornado, there's still mesocyclones there, and these parameters are very much still in place, even though we don't have the number of warnings that we had earlier. All right, so we're at 5 o'clock now. I'm Doc Deason. Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. If you've got family or friends who are watching or who are not on the social media platforms, and they are in these affected new update here within the last 3 minutes. Tornado warning remains in effect until 5:30 for western Marion, east central Wood, Upshur, southern Morris, and southeastern Titus, as well as Camp counties. What's that?
I think your microphone may have dropped.
Okay. Let me look.
Okay. For some reason,
It shows to be. All right. Checking on my mic there. 458, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located over Rosewood or near Gilmer, moving northeast at 30. So again, they are continuing to refer to this as a potentially particularly dangerous situation. So you guys in Gilmer, so Rosewood was the last location there. That's on 154, but this thing's continuing to move to the northeast. So it's passing north of Gilmer, but you're still going to get some pretty good wind in the Gilmer area, even without that circulation, which is going to be up in this area here. But this is some strong wind. It's getting pretty dark here in Tyler too now. So we'll be dealing with some pretty stout wind in here on the north side of this thing. Notice, the estimation by the radar, 80 to 85 to 90 mile an hour winds in there. Now, not all of this may not be reaching the ground, but still, even if you get, 40 to 50% of that, it's still a pretty good blow. So keep that in mind. You can also see that represented in the, this is kind of bowing out here, indicating that pretty good wind in that area too. But regardless, you guys in Gilmer proper, while the tornado threat will pass north of you, there's still going to be some pretty good wind, and I don't want you getting caught off guard with that. Okay. David's asking about Titus County, David. Titus County's pretty quiet now, brother. Titus County is going to get clipped by this warning, the polygon here. Okay, let's get back off of this 2 box and just go to 1. So, Titus County is clipped by this red polygon. That's the tornado warning itself. The warning and the danger is back up here, even though the polygon does include Wood County. This is where the action is, right here. Okay, so that's going to pass Pittsburgh. You guys are in the polygon, but I think the bulk of this is going to clip southeastern Camp County and may completely miss Titus County for that matter. We'll have to wait and see on that. There's a new scan coming across now. Some pretty good lightning here in the city of Tyler too, now starting to pop up, and we got some rain back coming down as well. You bet, David. Ramsey, I feel okay with South Tyler for the moment. Not much cooking besides some thunder and lightning, but I am going to keep an eye on this guy right here, south of Berryville. I'm not going to lie to you. I can see some of the media folks are also asking questions about northern Cherokee County. So I would imagine what they're asking about is this right here. Remember, we talked a couple minutes ago about how all these storms in this kind of an environment, they just kind of want to rotate, okay? Anytime you got that kidney bean shape to it, you can tell that thing is spinning. And in an environment like this, when it's spinning on a day like today, with as much as is going on in that bottom few thousand feet, and as moist as we are, there's a lot of pieces on the table that you need to fire that kind of tornadic thing up. I just got your message, Scott. Thank you, brother. That means a lot. So let's keep an eye on this thing down on the Cherokee Anderson County line near Berryville, Lake Palestine. All right. I'm going to try not to lose sight of that. I can hear the thunder in town now, but for the moment, I want to really focus in on this booger up here in Upshur County. Man, that is really wrapped up. Again, reds are blowing away from Shreveport. Blues and greens are blowing in towards Shreveport. Okay? So when you're looking for a tight cuppet like that, that's what you want to look for. So I would imagine some pretty good wind in Gilmer. Gilmer here and Gilmer, we're definitely getting it hit. Okay, Michael, thanks for that. Michael, any estimate on the wind, brother, in Gilmer? Yeah, Rosanna, I'm not surprised it's dark over there on the East Loop in Tyler. That is not surprising. It's getting dark here. Sky's got a pretty decent tint to it as well, from what I can see here. I got a lot of lights on, so I can't make out as good as I could if it were dark in here. But it's pretty good color to the sky right now. Oops, sorry about that. All right. Weather Service is watching that Cherokee County storm west of Jacksonville. Circulation doesn't look maybe quite as impressive as it did a few scans ago. It's still there, but it doesn't look as pronounced as it did. I'm not sure if the thing is cycling or just losing composure. Probably cycling, I would think. This is pretty long. This has been a pretty long duration situation on this deal. So those things don't tend to die off easy. And I appreciate you guys putting up with my voice this afternoon. Lexi got sick a week or so back, and then Alyssa got it, and I got it. And so y'all are having to deal with that from my end here. So thanks for your patience. We are at 5:10 now. Weather Service continuing with this tornado warning for this pretty long track situation. If it does, in fact, if it has made it to the ground, it's been a long circulation. I will say that. Whether or not it's been on the ground the entire time is hard to tell. We won't really know that until there's an ability to kind of assess some damage and try to connect some dots on this thing. But it continues to move northeast, and that is going to take it over into southeastern Camp County here shortly. I would say it's crossing 271 right now. decent lightning and thunder here in the city of Tyler. See back in on this guy here. New scans coming in from the Weather Service. Nothing creepy per se, but this will be running to the northeast. So you guys in southern Smith County will want to keep an eye on this. Haley said she just went through that. Went through that storm between Frankston and CUNY. Bad rain, but that was it. Good. Rosanna, I got some hot tea. Alyssa got me hooked up. So thank you. So we got a good amount of rainfall coverage, which will finally be into the bulk of Smith County. After the northern part of the county had been the only one to really see much rain an hour or so back, but these showers starting to fire to the south with the thunder now. We'll put some rain into the southern part of the county as well. Hey, Paige, thank you. Thanks, Caitlin. Appreciate it. So, let's see where we are with this. Let's get back on our velocity. Still pretty pronounced. Getting wet east of 271 now. Some of that wind getting into south and eastern parts of what would be southeastern Camp County. East of 271. I appreciate you, Carly. We're trying not to amplify your anxiety any more than we have to. So I appreciate that. Yeah, Melissa, just rain in South Tyler right now. Only tornado warning that we've got in our immediate area, guys, is this one over Upshur County, northern Upshur, about to clip over into southeastern Camp. It does include southern Titus County and south central Morris County, but not much of this is going to make it through the Titus County part of that. It's going to looks like it's going to stay more over Camp County and then ease over into Morris County. So we're at 5:15 now. Flash flood warnings continue for northern Smith, south central Wood County, as well as southwestern Upshur County. Yeah, this thing is like it's trying to cycle back up again as it's ready to cross over into southeastern Camp County. That's my opinion of it. We'll see what the Weather Service says, but that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, Billy says it's getting noisy there in south of Bullard. Yeah, I believe that. Hey, Stacy, good to hear from you, bud. Coffee City, Frankston. Shelby asking about that. We'll watch that. We'll watch that thing there. I think for the moment, the strongest storm in your area is going to pass off to the east. So here's 175. So the heaviest of this stuff is now going to be getting north of CUNY here shortly. It'll run up 346. Nothing severe again in this. This is just garden variety showers and some thunder for the moment. But just as you say that, maybe a little bit of, maybe some peas, small hail there on 346. Weather Service is issuing a special weather statement probably for that. Yeah, could be some winds upwards to 40 to 50 miles an hour with that, but I would also throw in that chance for maybe some pea-sized hail with this area of northwestern Cherokee and southern Smith, but no warning on that right now. That's just strictly sub-severe. Chase, you got a severe warning in your 110 White House area. I would be curious to see maybe if that might have been a special weather statement and not a severe thunderstorm warning, because I don't see anything new that's been issued for southern Smith County at the moment. Let's get further south here. Yeah, I think what you saw was a special weather statement. That would be this box that's covering South Tyler, White House, Chapel Hill. Yeah, they're saying wind gusts of 50. So that's what that was probably that they came across. That should have been what came across. Let's say that. Felicia asking about the difference between a statement and a warning. A special weather statement is kind of, think of it as one step below a severe thunderstorm warning. If they've got winds winds of 60 miles an hour or quarter-sized hail, you'll go with a severe thunderstorm warning. If they're below that threshold, they'll issue a special weather statement. So that's basically the difference. If the storm continues to increase in intensity, a special weather statement will be followed up by a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning for that matter. They can go either way, but traditionally they'll kind of go in that order, stair step upward. So hopefully that helps them. Oh, you're fine, Felicia. I appreciate it. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully that helps. That's a good question. Marbles in Midway, Eli? Okay, man. Can you attribute that to something like a coin size, man? Like a penny or a dime or quarter? Something along those lines. That's helpful. The Weather Service is going to ask me that. Yeah, I think the same question applies to Linda, to your question. There's no tornado warning for Chapel Hill. I think what you got was a special weather statement. Probably dimes, Eli. Okay, thank you, brother. Wind's kicking up in Marshall, Jessica. Okay, thank you for that. We're going to keep an eye on this stuff down here south of Bullard, too. Nothing yet, but something to keep an eye on. So here's that circulation back up northeastern Upshur County. Going to continue to cross right over extreme southeastern Camp County. Yeah, Cookie, I bet it is still over there. I got a wind, and I got a 1 mile an hour wind here at the house. We're over behind Broadway Square Mall, so it's still over here as well. So we're at 525 right now, guys. The only tornado warning we have is for this storm that is crossing out of Upshur County, across Camp County, and will be into southern Morris County here shortly. Tornado watch continues active for most of the area until 9 or it's either 9 or 10 o'clock. I can't remember. It's been a while since we looked at that. But so it looks like that goes for, I think that's 9 o'clock. Yeah. So that's the only tornado warning storm we have in our immediate area. The rest of the warnings are now up into Arkansas and extreme southeastern Oklahoma. You can definitely see the watch boxes, though. They go all the way down just north side of Austin. So that shower down there, thunderstorm coming into southern Smith County, seems to be behaving itself okay. Some heavy rain, though, going to be coming into South Tyler shortly. But nothing severe for Smith County at the moment. Sanders did his hard rain, but the sky is a little brighter into Flint, so good news there. Seeing some pretty decent flooding out of Lindale right now, too. Thanks, babe. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Do you need anything else?
I'm good. Thanks. All right, so looks like we are going with a fresh tornado warning to cover that Upshur County and would be Morris and Cass County. Stand by.
Tornado warning.
All right, northwestern Cass County, tornado warning. Southwestern Bowie, northeastern Upshur, Morris, southeastern Titus, eastern Camp. Tornado warning until 6:30. At 5:25, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado per the Weather Service located near Pittsburgh, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So, let's take a look at that, and let's put the velocity back on. So I feel like that's going to be in this area here. They're saying Pittsburgh. I feel like it's probably going to be a little bit east of there. So again, this is going to run officially until 6:30. We're at 5:30 right now. Tornado warning, a new one, which is going to cover a good chunk of Morris County, Camp County, southeastern Camp County, as well as Cass County. We'll call it northwestern Cass County. So you guys in that area, the circulation is going to be just, it looks like just east of Pittsburgh. Probably closer to Lone Star, I would say. Still a lot of wind. Northeastern Upshur County, Ore City, back over to near 271. So even though that circulation may have passed, there'll still be some pretty good wind on the backside of this regardless. So don't be surprised by that. And along with that comes some really heavy rainfall, which will be with you there for a while in northern Upshur County. A thunderstorm along 69 now. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Moderate to heavy rainfall from just north of Bullard back to Flint, Gresham, onto the south, on 1249 all the way into Loop 323. Lightning and some 40-mile-an-hour winds look like the biggest threat in that. Yeah, I think that issue there really. I think the issue with this Titus County area is going to be closer to the Lone Star. That's really where the circulation looks to be at. And you can see this thing wrapped up. Look at this signature here. Wow. See how it's wrote. The whole thing is just wrapping right there. Yeah, that's a classic Tornadic signature right there. Yeah. This whole thing is rotating. See that? They don't present much better than that. It's awfully shrouded in rain, so it can make it a little more difficult to see. But you're gonna see. Yeah, see that's right over Lone Star. Yeah. So this should pass. This will probably pass just south of Dangerfield. But it'll be over in Cass County here next 20 minutes. Coming up on 5:35 now. Yeah, they don't present much better than that. Hail on the north side. See that hail near Dangerfield. And everything wrapping in on the bottom side. In towards Shreveport. Out towards Shreveport. Out from Shreveport. So that's what we got there. Yeah, okay. Weather Service is seeing that same thing. Circulation looks to be relocating around Lone Star. So, yeah, that's what I thought. Sounds like Tyler Noah Weather Radio may be starting to recycle. We've at least lost the static on there, so that's a good sign. Flash flood warning 2 now for Upshur Wood and Smith County. Stand by for that.
Flash flood warning.
And just as I did that, the weather radio went dark again. So flash flood warning remains in effect till 7:15 for, let's see here, northwestern Smith, west central Upshur, southeastern Wood. Weather Service indicating between 4 and 5 inches of rain has fallen. Additional 1 to 2 inches possible in the warned area. That's a lot of rain, man. So, again, flash flood warning for those areas. Just want to be mindful of that. Fortunately, we're doing this in the daylight hours versus at night. Most of our flash flood deaths occur after dark. Most of them are in vehicles. And sadly, most of them are guys who are trying to drive through and they think they can make it. So just be aware of that. That lines up with some of the pictures that I've seen online out of Lindale from earlier when this stuff passed through. So the flash flood warning continues there. Tornado warning, the lone one, down near Lone Star, moving northeast, going to track just south and east of Dangerfield. Sounds like Tyler No Way, the radio is back up, so that's great. A lot of lightning with this stuff, even back behind that tornado warned storm. A considerable amount of lightning, even over Jackson, over the Cherokee County area for that matter. Let's get off of that. So you got showers, additional showers trying to blossom off to the southwest. Pretty innocuous looking at the moment, but in this environment makes you pause and keep an eye on stuff. A little bit better organization there on this one little pocket. Southeast side of Tyler. Okay, nothing severe at the moment, but seems to have gotten attacked a little bit more organized in the last few minutes. Again, this little box is just a special weather statement. It's no warning, just a sub-severe situation there with some decent wind. Peace-eyes hail, Carl at Deason. Thank you, bud. Yeah, Leanne, I see you there. Is it heading towards Naples, Omaha? I think it passes south and east of there, Leanne. Hopefully that helps you some. So you guys, Hugh Springs area, that area along Highway 11, The circulation, I would say, is somewhere between Lone Star and Hugh Springs. Looks to me right now. Um, there we go. So again, if you're southwest of Dangerfield, you need to be in that safe spot now. But the biggest impact from this, as far as anything tornadic, is going to pass off to the southeast of Dangerfield.
Remember, a tornado watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including tornadoes, large hail and damaging winds, in close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert to rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for later statements.
So we're coming up on 5:45 here. We're at 5:43 right now. But the tornado warning, the only one we have left is for this storm, which is between Lone Star and Hugh Springs. To grab a couple of points of reference there, this will be crossing Highway 11 here pretty quickly. And as it does so, it's got a history of producing a tornado. Sounds like could have been a sizable one. It seems as though it's cycling a bit. It looks better on radar for a spell. Takes somewhat of a break. Never completely loses the circulation though in the process, and therefore it's going to be very interesting to see what the Weather Service and the survey team that comes out, if they come out tomorrow or Sunday, what they find as far as how consistent this track is, because the mesocyclone has been very consistent. Whether or not the tornado has kept a consistent touchdown to the ground through that space is not known yet, but we know it has touchdown in some spots based on the debris signature. So Weather Service also issuing, it looks like, a new flash flood warning.
Flash flood warning.
This is a new flash flood warning at 5:43 for Camp, southeastern Franklin, northern Morris, Titus, northwestern Upshur, and northeastern Wood County. That goes till 8:45. Weather Service radar indicating between 2 and 4 inches of rain is fallen. Additional rain of 1 to 2 inches they expect to come atop of that. So flash flooding ongoing or about to begin in these areas. So again, that's Camp, southeastern Franklin, Morris, northern Morris County, Titus, northwestern Upshur, and northeastern Wood County. And that's going to run until 8:45. So there's kind of a rough look at the Shreveport radar. Pull that a little bit more. So we've got additional stuff trying to develop over Rusk County. Nothing severe there at the moment. Only warning we've got is for this guy, this tornado warning, which is readying to cross into Cass County. Sounds like they've had some damage potentially at the Ozarka plant up near Hawkins, which tracks perfectly with the movement of that supercell that went right across that area, just not too far from Holly Lake Ranch. So that all lines up. Makes sense. But again, that's our lone tornado warning for the moment. We've got an array of flash flood warnings from that rainfall behind this, but nothing more of a severe nature, at least for the moment. Rainfall's getting heavier over central sections of Smith County now, and it'll be interesting to see what this rain does to the south and what these showers try to do right now that are over the city of Henderson and kind of splitting Russ County. That's some rainfall that'll be coming up in your neck of the woods soon, Longview. It's a really impressive circulation, though. You see it spinning back here. Watch that. It's impressive. This is not one of those tornadoes that you're gonna be able to see. It's not gonna be real photogenic. It's gonna be wrapped up in rain, like they usually are around our part of the country. You get up into Kansas and Nebraska, the Dakotas in August or July, you'll see those low precipitation supercells that you can photograph them from miles away, and they look great. This is not that kind of deal. It's gonna be shrouded in rain. It's gonna be hard to see. Thankfully, at least this is happening during the daylight hours, just for the sake of people who are not caught just completely blind. But it's not going to be one of those things that it's not probably going to look like you expect it to look, I guess is the best way to put it. So this thing looks like it is getting over into Cass County now. It'll pass north and west of Linden. You guys in Linden are not in the polygon. I would say it's somewhere near the Highway 11 area in western Cass County, if I had to venture a guess. Maybe just southeast of Dangerfield, Hugh Springs area. So the Weather Service has now just canceled the tornado warning for Upshur, Camp, Red River, and Titus counties. They're going to continue for Cass, Morris, and Bowie County until 6:30. Yeah. So that's good. Makes sense. what we'll do, we're going to hang with this thing until we get it out of Cass County. And then at that point, barring any additional tornado warnings, we'll let you guys keep an eye on things. We'll post as we need to this evening, obviously. But I'm not going to leave this thing on the table over our immediate counties if I can avoid it. So we'll that'll probably get us another 20-30 minutes, and then we get this up and out of our immediate area. So we're looking at 5:52 right now. The lightning in this cluster is still very impressive, even without any kind of tornadic situation back to the southwest of that main supercell. But the heavy rain prompting flash flood warnings. You got heavy rain all the way down from Lone Star, Hugh Springs, Ore City, back to just north and east of Longview, down to Gladewater, Winona. Heavy rain there now. Heavy rain on the north side of Tyler. You get just north of Tyler, and you get into that flash flood warning, which was issued on account of that same, I think it was the same supercell that came across northern Smith County that is now up here into Cass County, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. But that was a known potential outcome with the setup that we were watching earlier today. So, but thankfully, at least for the time being, that's the only warning we have. Showing showers, overall intensity of the rain is increasing over Smith County from where it was earlier. And, you still got more heavy rain back towards Hawkins, especially west of Hawkins, and over towards Edom even. Those showers over Rusk County don't seem as though they've been able to really get a foothold, which is good to see, and a little bit surprising too, I think, given the environment. Not that I'm complaining. Still not much going on though over the southern and deep East Texas counties.
Commercial radio, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. Repeating, tornado watch number 1 on 3 billion in effect until 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following.
So here we are, 5:55. Got some folks asking about severe weather like this tomorrow. Not necessarily. Tomorrow is going to be more of a heavier rain situation. There will be some severe weather tomorrow, primarily I think across the eastern and our southeastern counties tomorrow afternoon. It will be more of a heavy rain type event. As you get into, the Tyler area and points back to the west. We'll finally get the rain out of here as we get into late tomorrow afternoon. Into tomorrow evening, we'll get a stout cold front come through here, and that's going to knock us. That's going to knock the rain and pull the dry air in here. That'll be game over. We're going to be cloudy on Sunday. It's going to be chilly on Sunday and overcast too. So, you're I think some people will be surprised by how cool it's going to be. And if you've got some tender plants, if you saw my post this morning my 7 o'clock post that we do on during the week. I mentioned if you've got some tender plants, some stuff in the ground that's pretty young, you may want to cover that stuff on Sunday night, because I think we're going to be down in the 30s in a lot of places. And that temperature, when we forecast those temperatures, we're forecasting it at about 6 feet off the ground versus what's going on down there at the ground, at the surface itself, at the soil level, can be a couple degrees colder. So if you don't want to take any chances on that, get that stuff wrapped up in some shape, form, or fashion by Sunday night. Okay, so hopefully that helps some. So let's get back on the velocity and look at this 2 box real quick. Yeah, the circulation is cleanly now over into Cass County. There's Sardis, Hugh Springs. It doesn't look as pronounced as it has earlier, which is good. Doesn't mean the tornado threat is over by any stretch, but it is good to see that it doesn't seem to want to present quite as well as it has. Just gonna kind of scan around here for a minute. Nothing impressive over Smith County, Rusk County, Panola County looks quiet. Yeah, still some circulation there, but not as pronounced. So we are coming up to 6 o'clock, and one lone tornado warning left. If you're just now hopping on, this is a storm, a mesocyclone that has tracked from dang near Van Zandt County all the way across northern Smith County, southern southeastern Wood County, Upshur County, Camp County, and now is over into Cass County. That's an impressive track, both in its consistency and its ability to maintain some pretty good strength, never really falling apart along the way, cycling at times, but still maintaining itself very well along the way. And then, a ton of rain behind it. And that has led to numerous counties under flash flood warning. So this thing officially will expire in about 30 minutes at 6:30. I feel like it'll be out. I think it very well may be out of Cass County before then. Thanks, Trevor. I didn't see that, man, but I'll take a look at it. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, Patricia. I hope so too. He's got heavy rain 7 south of Winsboro. Appreciate that, Vicky. Thank y'all for bearing with my voice. Sorry about that. Thanks to my wife, Alyssa, for giving me a steady diet of hot tea. It works wonders. So it's been interesting how things have been a bit quiet from the Weather Service for a bit pertaining to this thing, which is not a bad sign. Appreciate it, Nancy. Pretty good rain coming into Tyler now from the southwest. Some lightning on the north side of town. New showers developing now around Chapel Hill. So we had the moderate risk for severe weather that the Storm Prediction Center went ahead and pulled the switch on yesterday at lunch. That was led by what looked like the potential for tornadoes and for strong tornadoes at that. So I think we can say that we verified on that, albeit maybe that moderate risk could have been a little bit further pushed westward, given what we saw earlier on in this event with the warnings over Henderson and Van Zant and Rains and Hopkins counties. It felt a little bit to me like West Texas, in that these storms just pop, and all of a sudden you've got 3 or 4 counties under tornado warning for 3 separate storms, which doesn't typically happen as much around here, especially the way they just kind of lined up from north to south. We used to see that on the dry line out in Abilene and points out further west of there, but you don't see them that often here go from conception to full-throated supercell that fast. So that was interesting to see that. Not sure what we're dealing with here. If this is some kind of reorganization going on. Yeah, I think this may be some signs of re-intensification maybe on this thing. There's a lot of small communities here. There's 1399 though. And when I'm seeing something right in there like that, that makes me think this thing may be trying to ramp itself back up. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But it would appear that this thing is trying to reorganize. So let's put a few more. There's Highway 77. Okay, runs east-west across Cass County. We're northwest of Linden here. Okay. But if I'm trying to decide what I want to keep my eyes on, I'm keeping my eyes in this area right here. See those wind speeds estimates? Anytime you've got pixels in there that just pop up like that, there's something cooking. I mean, because all this is running in, showing 60 to, dang near 70 mile an hour winds in this little pocket. But then there's this guy right here. So, right next to inbound winds. So, yeah, it may just be a sign that this thing is trying to reorganize. Won't know until we watch it, but it all kind of lines up. Rain's coming down pretty good here in South Tyler now, though. You bet, Pam. Thank you. Appreciate you being here, Pam. Thank you. Take care, Gary. Get you some rest, man. Thanks, Chris. Now, Gary, I don't think it'll be an all-nighter per se. It's going to rain for a good piece of the night, but I don't think we're going to be sitting inside of severe weather all night.
Information, check us out on the website www.weather.gov/SHP. The pilot climate summary for this evening at 4 p.m. April 4th, 2025. Today's high tornado watch number 114 has been canceled for the following counties: Anderson. Repeating, the tornado watch number 114 has been canceled for the following counties.
All right, just hearing now, Weather Service has canceled the tornado watch for Anderson County. So that's a good sign. We talked about that earlier. It looked like they were going to start trimming people out of that. So that's a good trend. Absolutely well. Thank you. So Angela's asking about Pollock and Lufkin and Huntington, Zavala. Not too much going on down there. Pretty quiet. We'll get rain in your area later tonight. But as of now, you guys have just kind of been watching from afar. But regardless of all this, y'all, we need the rain. We're below normal with rainfall since January 1st. At all three of our climate sites, Lufkin, Longview, Tyler. And if you read my updates in the mornings, you've heard me over the last couple of months talk about how if we go into the summer dry, that sets us up for a really hot situation. So what you don't want to do, if you don't like massive heat, is go into the summer on a dry note. You just don't want to do that. So I'll take the soaking stuff. I hate the storms and the havoc that they cause, but I'm thankful for the good soaking moisture that we'll see tonight, we're seeing now, and then we'll see tomorrow. That does good for our lakes, for our creeks, for the soil. The more moisture that the soil has, the less ability the sun has to heat that soil as rapidly. So, the sun can heat the ground, but it's only going to do so much when it has to overcome moisture and that evaporative process. So it may make it humid, but when you start talking about burn bans and fire danger and just the general unrelenting heat of June and especially July and August, that rain goes a long ways from us. It goes a long ways for us, I should say. Weather Service, Brad over at the Weather Service in Shreveport, he says that current storm in Cass County west of Atlanta is still rotating, although it's not as terribly tight right now. with no high confidence radar debris signature. So they're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. It's still got a definitive mesocyclone, but it doesn't have the tight tornadic circulation that it did earlier. But given the climate, like I said, given what we've seen, what we know we have at the surface and off the surface, with something that has a history like this, you're going to want to give it a good amount of distance.
Are your parents safe to come into town to go?
Yeah.
Are these there lots of tornadoes in town tonight?
I think it's a lower end.
And they've worked with Happy to figure out.
I think they've got a plan.
They've got a plan in place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
Love
good.
you.
Love you too. Okay. You see.
Keith's going to go back to his regularly scheduled evening. I got you, Keith. Good for you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Now, no tornado in Tyler, Maggie. Just hopping on, I see that. There was no tornado in Tyler. I think there was a tornado that crossed northern Smith County earlier. We'll know that once the Weather Service makes a survey. And this will be an interesting situation. Rain's coming down pretty hard here in Tyler now. This will be kind of akin to back in June of last year. We had that tornado that started right there on Lake Palestine and crossed over into Smith County. So you're hopping jurisdictions, the Weather Service office jurisdictions from the Fort Worth office into the Shreveport office. So I'll be interested to see how those survey teams will assess the situation. I don't know if they'll start on that tomorrow or if they'll start it on Sunday. With the rain still being in the area tomorrow, they may not. And with the potential for severe weather across East Texas tomorrow, they may hold off, and Fort Worth may take a shot in their area, and Shreveport may hold off until Sunday. I don't know. But they want to get in there and start poking around as quick as they can so that the debris does not get disturbed. And so they can use that to assess the overall strength of whatever it is they came through. So there's a method to the madness, obviously. They do that stuff very well. But they also are not going to operate in unsafe conditions, whether that be lightning or otherwise. So this thing continues to rotate over northern Cass County. I would say the circulation, if I had to pinpoint and throw a dart, I'd say 1399 northwest of Linden. There's a lot of wind out ahead of this. And then you get, you get this another, you get this thing another 12, 13 miles to the north. And you're up in the Bowie County. So, not a whole ton more. Oh, hold on. She's the best. Alyssa takes good care of me. It's funny because we've had some sound issues with my microphone, and I've had several people say something to me about it. It sounds like my voice gets slurred or something, and so Alyssa and I were trying to troubleshoot that earlier. With as bad as my voice sounds right now, it all sounds slurred. So, but if you are listening and you've noticed from time to time since January, I bought a new little box that I think may be the source of my problems, but it allows me to not have to use my mouse as much, and I can hit some buttons and fire off some elements. And I wonder if that may be part of my issue there. But yeah, Alyssa's great. She's She's awesome. Lightning was pretty crazy in Canton, Amber. Yeah, I believe you. Um, and the Lightning is still impressive with this stuff, even this far, down the line. Um, and we're seeing, some additional strikes in spots, although not as prolific as it was earlier. Better Lightning over Upshur County than Smith County per se. Yeah, Joseph, you may never know, but she did say it sounded like I'd been, bellied up to the bar a bit before I came on the air with the way it was making my voice slur, which was really, I don't know what it sounded like. I haven't been able to hear it because I don't have any in-ear monitors here, but it was pretty funny. So we'll try to get it figured out. But if you notice that in the future, that may be what's going on. So we're at 6:17 now. We'll continue to walk this guy out. I'm trying to see here if the Weather Service just cleared that. If how many counties they cleared out of this watch, because it looks like they cleared a bunch of them out. Or it may just be actually, I think that watch went until 6. That was it. Yeah, that's probably it. Brooke, as far as Nacogdoches is concerned, I don't think you can really rule anything out per se this evening. But, by the same token, it's been very quiet down that direction so far. So it's going to be kind of something we're just going to have to watch. Just kind of monitor on an hour by hour basis. I wish I could be more definitive for you on that, but models have been a little wishy-washy on development across the southeastern counties, which is part of the reason why the original watch box didn't go that far south. When SPC issued that watch back around 1 o'clock, they didn't have Nacogdoches County or Cherokee or Rusk or Angelina. Didn't have any of those counties in the box initially, but then as it all started to cut loose to the west, they started adding counties on, and then another box comes in for I-45 counties, and for good reason. I don't know that I even got a chance to post the tornado watch for the western counties before the tornado warning started coming in, but there was a watch there. I just wasn't fast enough to make it happen and post something on it. By that point, we were with tornado warnings, and we've been live ever since. So let's get back over here and look at this circulation. So again, it's still there, but it's not nearly as pronounced. So it sounds like, barring some re-intensification, that Weather Service is going to cancel that warning. Yeah, they're canceling it right now. So we should lose that polygon here in a second. Yeah, there it goes. So that puts us tornado warning free, and that's a good place to be. That being said, this thing could wrap itself back up again. I'm kind of doubtful that it's going to be able to do that before it exits out of Cass County. But then again, there's this little guy down here north along Highway 11, west of Linden, that may not look like much now, but you never know. Those kind of things just kind of stick out. But even so, look at all the lightning back to the west. So there's plenty of rain to be had up there. This has been the primary area of concern for flash flooding. That's why the flash flood watch was out along and north of I-30 for today. It's going to be in place, I think, until Sunday morning. So, that's, and for good reason. So, so it looks like they're going to go ahead and put is that a new severe thunderstorm warning? Yeah. So they're going to go severe on that. Yeah, they will.
Severe thunderstorm warning.
So we'll go severe for northwestern Cass. That runs till 7. It's the same storm. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarters. Storm 11 miles east of Naples or 18 west of Atlanta. Moving to the northeast at about 30 miles an hour. So, still got some potential to do some things. Doesn't take a tornado to knock a tree over. That's just in the right spot and hit just the right place on a house and hurt somebody. So, we don't want to lose complete sight of this thing. But we also want to understand that, at least for now, the tornado threat has diminished. So, that's great news there. With that being said, if you don't mind, I am going to take a break here and see what we can get done on the evening side of things. We'll be posting products and whatnot here this evening. Carol got 5.4 inches of rain in Lindale. Thank you, Carol. Carol Bobo. Thank you, bud. You bet, Terry. Brooke, I'm glad we're able to help. But we'll be posting if we have warnings that come out. We'll post those up. We try not to do long form coverage like this unless it is more of an exceptional severe thunderstorm situation or tornado warnings. So thank you for. There we go. All right, there we go. So as I was saying, thank you for allowing us to be part of this and help you out during these kinds of days. Proud to be able to partner with our friends at Rose City Air, who help to support our cause here, and hopefully we're able to give you some peace of mind during these last couple of hours. But again, for the weekend, we'll be watching stuff. If we need to come back in, we'll do that. Not afraid to do that. But for now, though, you guys enjoy your evening. And we will talk again soon. Thanks again.
Thanks for watching this live broadcast from Doc Deason's Weather. When weather's at its worst, we're at our best. Doc Deason's Weather, the calm in the storm.